Are you getting messages in your dreams about a great migration of people that are leaving the earth or this reality? Some people call that a harvest, a rapture, an ascension, but it is a great migration of people who have completed this lower third density programming, and they are going to be moving either into fourth density, fifth, or sixth density, which I have done videos about that. Today is what the message, the signal is, and how you can recognize it if you are someone who is actually going to be moving into higher dimensions of light or higher frequencies of consciousness or new worlds and new realities. Not everyone will. This great migration is starting now, but it will crescendo into a larger group in the future, and it is the culmination of the end of this program. Earth is an experimental planet where time cell programs are put into place for a period of time, and then at the end of that time there is a harvesting, and those avatars are moved into other realities. So I'm going to give you some examples of what this dream signal is and is not. So the first examples I'm going to give you is the great migration, or if you want to call ascension or a harvest. This dream always comes in the form of a group migration. You are never going to get a dream where you are the single person that is ascending or migrating. You're not going to get dreams where you are there with a being who's in a robe or an ET or some sort of being, and this being takes you through a wormhole or a portal or takes you to a higher kingdom and shows you all these things. This is not the signal for the migration or the ascension. It is a very specific signal. This signal is about group, about a large group of people. And when you get the dream, it will be a dream of a mass of people that are moving out of this reality. One of the ways that looks like is you would have a dream where you are standing in a group of people, and before you can see in front of you there is a large stargate or portal of light, and as a group you are moving through this portal of light. And when you are moving through this portal of light, there is a sense of rejoicing and a sense of unity and a sense of graduation, and the entire consciousness is of the same frequency and vibration of joy and complete fulfillment, and you are moving through this portal of light. Another way that this signal comes is the way I experienced it personally years ago, and I was astral traveling, or I bilocated to a park in the center of a city, and while standing in this park you could look around and see the sidewalk in front of the park. You could see the street in front of the park where cars were coming and going. You could see buildings in the downtown area, people walking up and down the streets, a very busy downtown. And then suddenly the heavens opened, as a way to explain it, and these beings came down. These beings were in a male form, very muscular, and had just a white glistening sort of loincloth on that glistened, and they descended down from the sky essentially, or from higher dimensions. And when I looked up, one of the beings reached down with his hand, and I looked up and I took his hand, and we began to slowly rise up. But then I immediately reached out my hand, because in the park with me was a woman with 2 children, and she came over and she grabbed my hand with her children, and then we continued to rise up together into the sky. And when we began to lift off, you could see that these angelic type beings had descended all over the place and were picking up people, groups of people, but hand by hand, so that it was like a long line of people holding hands. One person would grab the next person, would grab the next person, but it was still a group that was leaving together with these beings, and everyone were holding hands so that all of us could go at the same time. Meanwhile, the city kept moving along. People kept going up and down the sidewalk in front of the park. Cars kept going. The world kept moving on, and nobody noticed that we were there and that we left. So it is very important to know that if you are a part of this ascension migration process, you will get a direct message similar to what I have explained here. It will not be a singular event. You must be in a group when you have the dream, because later on, as the migration comes into full swing and as your time period comes to a close, you will be getting more signals and more messages, because there is a message that is being coded and sent to people who can tap into this message, who have reached a high enough consciousness where they are receiving the signal. And this signal is ongoing, delivering this type of information, but it will continue to deliver other pieces of information as time goes on. And so it is very important that we, first of all, I've spent many videos talking about this. We release all of our addictions and all our seductions to our ego identity, because most people, 99% of the people, when they die, they go into the astral worlds and they live a life just like they lived on earth. And they are attached to their addictions, to their seductions, to their identity as a human, to their family lineage. Those who have been able to separate themselves from that, and they're starting to get a lot of ET contact. They're being taken up on ships. They're being shown their position on a ship, what they might be able to do, what the ETs have to offer. Those are beings who will be taking a migration to fourth density. Those fourth density souls, which are part of the migration, still have attachment to their human identity, because fourth and third density are extremely similar. Fourth density is high technology, Star Trek worlds, and so a lot of people will be migrating into fourth density, which is still high polarity, high contrast. There's wars, there's factions, there's all kind of struggle in that universe. But that doesn't mean that you're necessarily going with the negative ETs, although some people might be, but that's not part of the migration. There are very many good and positive ETs who are working to help this planet and to help souls leave the trap of the astral worlds, because almost all these avatars are being trapped in the astral worlds. So there is a good group of ETs helping to free people from the astral worlds and taking them to the very next step, which is fourth density, which is a Star Trek type reality where there are good and bad and struggles and trade and all kinds of technology. The higher dimension of the migration, which is fifth and sixth density, requires a complete reorganization of your divine blueprint. There'll be light geometries and codes and frequencies that will have to reorder your brain and nervous system and chakra system. You will literally cannot have addictions. You cannot have addictions to this world. You cannot be attached to your identity, because in fifth and sixth reality, the old human identity is shed or transformed, and you are expanded into a new identity. So this is my message for today. I have many videos on a lot of this discussion, but the message today is about the signal. You will be getting a specific signal. It will be a group en masse migration. And these avatars are going to new worlds, new planetary worlds. Only 6 density is leaving the planetary system and going into star realities, where they are birthing themselves as star beings or light beings. And that is a different topic. So that is my discussion today. The signal. You will be getting a signal, so watch for it. It will be in your dreams. You will be lucid enough. You will be lucid and clear enough to know you have received the signal. So leave your thoughts or questions below. Also, October is coming up, so please consider joining my Patreon group. It's a private group. We are preparing for the migration in our group. We are cleansing and purifying. We are working with lucid dreams. We are working with our spiritual gifts. And the beginning of each month, we start a new sort of topic. So October 1st is a good time to join. And thank you, friends. I'll see you in the next video.